Well, our moms think we're funny.
Anyway, so we're recording.
Are we now?
Yeah.
So, hey everybody.
What up, bitches?
My name is Turk182.
And I'm Acomi.
Wow, you're just coming in hot this time, aren't you? Wow. That reminds me of, God, what comedian was it that, he was opening for Sam Kinison, and he was a little nervous opening for Sam Kinison. He's like, wow, it's like, oh, dude, here. He's like, this is the thing. He's like, just go out there and just berate the audience. He just go out there and then just talk about them, talk about the shit they are, and just berate them. And he's like, yeah, it'll be fine. You know, knowing kind of Sam Kinison's humor, the guy goes out there and he starts doing that, and the crowd just turns on him. And within like 5 minutes, he's being booed off the stage. And the guy's like, he's like, dude, he's like, Sam is like, you told me this. Like, they hate me. He's like, yeah, but they're gonna love me when I come out.
That's a real dick move. Oh yeah, yeah. No, that wasn't supposed to kill the vibe coming out of it, but I guess so. There was one of my favorite Game Grumps openings. Was like Danny gives his introduction, and without saying anything else, Aaron just jumps in and goes, "Bien nuevo, power bottoms." It's like, okay.
Apparently God does love gays, but only if there's hops. I love that American Dad. I just love American Dad in general.
Alright, so Turk, what are we doing today?
Today we make podcasts. But I think I've already done this one, haven't I? This opening.
I don't know.
To make podcasts, first we pick a subject, something like that.
Listen to this shit.
I do.
Ooh, look at me, my name's Turk182. I care about our projects.
I do. Sometimes.
Right.
So today I had an idea of something. And I was like, hey, you know what? That'd be kind of cool. So I was thinking about movies, which I often do. And you have movies like Kill Bill, where in the middle of Kill Bill, you've got this whole animated sequence of like, let me tell you about Oren Ishii and how she rose to power and where she comes from, and it's really cool. It's one of my favorite segments in Kill Bill. It's just the whole Oren Ishii thing. It's so well done. You've got scenes like in the movie Run, Lola Run. For those of you who haven't seen that, where
that's a brilliant sequence.
Have you seen the movie?
Oh yeah, I love Run Lola Run.
Yeah, so for those of you that haven't seen it, it's a really awesome movie. But there's a part in it where basically this woman, she's got to save her boyfriend, and she's got to get money to save him because or else they're going to kill him or something, like, I guess, gangsters. And so she goes through this whole sequence of events. But part of the sequence involves her like going down the flight of steps of their apartment, and they think there's like a cat on the steps or something, and then like running out in the street and not getting hit by a car and all this. And she does this 3 times, and each time she makes a slightly different choice. But
and the timing is slightly different,
right?
Because like during the second segment, somebody trips her and she falls, and that sets her timing back by like 15 seconds.
I think in one she goes to her dad to get to ask him, because doesn't he like work at a bank, or he's like the manager of a bank, and she goes to him asking for money. And that sort of. So anyway, each segment is a little bit different, but or at least the way each one plays out. But that one part that's the anime sequence is always animated. And so
it's got a really cool style to it too.
Yeah, and it kind of shows that part where her like bounding down the steps kind of shows like more of like the frantic nature of what she's trying to do. Anyway, and I think it would work better than if you actually just saw her like running down the steps.
Right.
So you've got Kill Bill, you've got Run Lola Run. There's a couple others that have like this little anime sequence in them.
Yeah.
Then you have movies that have like an animated sequel. So Animatrix is one, where maybe not a sequel, but like a portion of the story, right, is animated. So you've got Animatrix is one. The Chronicles of Riddick franchise has Dark Fury, which takes place in between was it? I'm trying to think of how the movies go, but it takes place in between the one movie and Riddick, or whatever. And it tells this whole story of him, and then of course, along with that, you also have the video game Escape from Butcher Bay, which is also a standalone, well, not standalone. It's also a part of the storyline. It takes you from, what's the name of that first one?
From the
Pitch Black.
yeah.
From Pitch Black into this, into this, into this. So for the full story, you play the video, watch Pitch Black, play the video game, watch the movie, then watch the animated movie Dark Fury, and then you watch that. So
Yep.
that's all kind of cool. And the Matrix also has that too, with the one Matrix video game, which tells the story of Niobe and Ghost and what they're doing prior to that. And Animatrix also ties directly into the one in Matrix Reloaded, or is it Matrix Revisited? I think it's Reloaded.
Yeah, I can't remember.
But anyway, where they're like, when they get the message that they get the message from the one ship, and like, they got this message to us through this encoded channel or whatever. And in the Animatrix, it tells a story of them getting that message and getting it out of the Matrix before they got killed to get to them. So, so anyway, I was like, what movie, though, was the whole point of this, what movie would you like to see, or do you think would be cool or elevated in some way by either having a animated like kind of feature to tell like another part of the story, or maybe they tell the next chapter or a previous chapter, or having an animated sequence in the middle of the movie?
Right. Another one would be Scott Pilgrim, because they did an animated segment
when it's like, he punched a hole in the moon for me. That's pretty rad.
Yeah. Well, plus there was also like an actual, like, I guess it was technically a pilot of like Scott Pilgrim in his high school days when he formed the band with Kim and Lisa Miller, who she wasn't a character in the movie, but she was a very central character in the comics. And that's actually a very well done short.
There's the movie The Man with the Iron Fist, and there is actually a like 3 or 4 minute animated prequel to it that tells a story of the blacksmith played by the RZA, and how he was a kind of like on a slave ship or indentured servant ship or whatever, and they docked to this one place, and that's the first time he meets Batista's character Brass Body. And they're like shooting cannons at him and shit, and it's not hurting him. He like wrecks shop, and in it he's like, this guy was just a monstrous beast, and he's like, I hope I never see him again.
Right.
And then of course, that's like this little prequel thing, and then later on, of course, he runs into Brass Body again, which is probably one of the... Man with the Iron Fist is not a great movie. I applaud RZA for what he did, and I think it's really kind of awesome. And the fact that he had like Quentin Tarantino like helping him and stuff with the, I think, producing of it and stuff. And then he got like, you got Batista in it, you got Russell Crowe, you got Lucy Liu, you got these people in the movie for your first like writing and directorial like debut. I think it's kind of awesome. And the cinematography and the visuals are beautiful. Even if the movie is not as strong as it needs to be or could be, the cinematography is just fantastic.
Cool.
So, have you've never seen it? Then I take it.
No, I haven't.
Okay. So
you should already know the answer to that.
I'll bring up the trailer for it because I think you can really get an idea of it from the trailer.
Okay, cool.
But anyway, so what do you got for me? You want to give one first? You want me to go one first?
I mean, I just thought of like a bunch of movies because I think there's a ton of movies that would do really, really well with an animated sequence.
Okay.
And I could argue pretty heavily for all of them, I think. But I'm just gonna jump into this first one, which would be Ultraviolet.
Ultraviolet.
Yeah. With Mia Jovovich.
Yeah, I know the movie. It's just not a good movie.
It's a bad movie, but it's so visually good.
It is visually appealing.
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
Oh, it doesn't make any sense. I'm not arguing for the quality of the film. I'm saying that it would be enhanced with an animated sequence.
But what I was about to say is like I think an animated movie would be good.
A spin-off,
putting a sequence in there for me wouldn't really do anything because I think that might stand out, but then the rest of the movie just would look even more lackluster to me.
Mm-hmm.
But if you did an animated spin-off, or like, not like a series, but a movie spin-off from that,
like a short film or something.
right? I think that would be nice. That would kind of allow a little more of the suspension of disbelief for the movie, as far as like how much am I supposed to invest in this?
Right,
By making
right.
an anime, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I can tone down my expectations a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And plus, it would allow it to be a little bit more. It was already kind of balls out, but it would be a little bit more balls out.
Yeah,
I think.
it lets you do a bit more with like your action sequences. Like you can handle some like really cool like fight sequences and things like that. Yeah, no, I think like a little spin-off short would do really, really well with it, especially if you got like one of the animation teams from like some of the more recent DC stuff. Then I think it would look pretty good.
Okay. All right. So Ultraviolet, I can kind of see that. Let's see. What else you got?
What else? This is, I mean, just because I've talked about the movie recently, I'm just going to throw this one out, and you may not agree, but I think Yojimbo.
Okay.
And I think like you could do like more of an animated series. Not hentai. I think like an American animation style that gleans some inspiration. Not, did I say hentai? I meant anime. Freudian slip.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So not anime, but like an American art style that gleans some inspiration from anime. So kind of like Avatar or something like that. I think that could do well with like a little limited series animated.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun.
So probably when I had this idea in my head, one of the first things that popped in there for that, and I was like, huh, was John Wick.
Yeah.
Now, John Wick on his own is fantastic. You wouldn't need anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you took like one of his segments in there and animated it, especially with a really like a really lean style animation, like I'm trying to think of an example, kind of like the style they used in not quite like Kill Bill, because that one, it was a little too animated.
Yeah, that was very anime style.
Yeah. So, or you remember the not quite like this? Shit, I'm trying to think of like a really good one to kind of relate it to. But the DC Shorts Wonder Woman one with where she has like the really long legs and the torso.
Yeah.
With that, using that kind of a style there for like a John Wick. Or even doing a John Wick, like kind of animated like movie spinoff.
Yeah.
And then telling like some kind of like story of, I don't know, from his past or whatever. Like, oh, here's one of his like, one of the crazy things he did, to when he worked for the mob.
Yeah.
I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that would be really interesting.
I could see that.
Yeah, so I can definitely see that, which that kind of makes me wonder if something like Hotel Artemis, how that would do with an animated
Have you seen all Hotel Artemis?
Just segments of it.
Oh man, I do like that movie.
Yeah, not like the whole thing, but yeah, as long as you're talking about like doing spin-offs and like more exploring the world, then it'd be interesting to do like a little animated sequence with like Batista's character.
Batista is really awesome in that movie.
Yeah, he's great. Yeah,
he's
so
see
like
this healthcare professional.
Yeah, so like maybe like how he came to work as a healthcare professional at the Hotel Artemis. That would make a really good like animated short. Now animation style, what would go well with that? I mean, that would do pretty well with like a Bruce Timm style, I think.
Like a Batman kind of Bruce Timm
Yeah,
style. That
yeah.
with I could see that especially with the way his character is in the movie, and then kind of like just like him telling somebody like he's like prepping them or whatever for Jodie Foster's character, and then him like be like, hey, It's like, oh, you want to know how I ended up here at the Hotel
Right,
Artemis,
yeah.
and then telling that story and it being told in that fashion. Of
Yeah.
course, with him being more heroic, because he's telling the story about how he ended up there. It's like, yeah, I used to be a bad guy. Because she says, oh, you haven't seen the movie, but when there's something about, she talked about not opening the doors or whatever, and basically he was a person that she shouldn't have opened the doors for, but let in anyway and took a chance on.
I did hear that segment, yeah. I
So
think I've seen like a fourth of the movie, maybe. Just like various parts throughout.
I like it. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's like, oh, it's just the best movie ever, but it's got a really good cast, and I like the way everyone plays their parts, including Charlie Day, who comes across as being such a good like weakling douchebag that
Yeah, yeah.
talks a big game, but in the end he's just so full of shit.
I really like Charlie Day.
And Zachary Quinto's character is really good, and even Jeff Goldblum's small role is good. I mean,
Yeah, I forgot he was in that. I love Jeff Goldblum.
and everything about that. But
You know I have like what you call a mad talent crush on Jeff Goldblum.
do you?
Right up there with he's not as much of a Nick Cage for me, but I mean you know he's one of those guys that I'll just like always go for a movie for.
Well, my mom just has a mad thing for him, just in general.
I think every female does for sure.
Yeah,
And most men. It's Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. So yeah, and I tease her about it a lot. Not in a bad way per se, but because of some stuff I'll tell you about off camera. Off mic. That I was like, see, this is all your fault. This is all your fault. And so yeah. But anyway, that Hotel Artemis, again, I can see like a nice animated sequence there with that, or even something that tells like shows the riots in the street. So you hear about it, you see it on TV, but if they were to cut over to the riots and the riots are in this animated style,
that would be awesome.
that would be nice. I could see that. All right, cool. That's a good one. I like that.
I've got one I'm really looking forward to, but I don't want to like keep hogging the mic.
No.
'Cause
Go right ahead.
Okay, you ready for this? You may not agree, but I think once I debate my case, then you might start to see things my way.
Okay.
Clockwork Orange.
How and where?
When Alex gets caught up in the ultraviolence, and his whole thing is he listens to classical music, he loses himself in the drugged milk, and he starts committing these acts of ultraviolence, be that rape or be that like brutalizing somebody. You convert those scenes to animated. So you have this stuff where he starts to play the classical music, he starts to sing, like you had the segment where he's doing Singing in the Rain, stuff like that. Then you convert that to an animated sequence. Really dark, really heavily shaded stuff.
Okay, and so with that, it's you're basically saying, okay, not how this kind of like this is how he views the world when he's on this kind of like a drug trip sequence, but more of like all of a sudden the world becomes this whole like fantastical place.
Yeah, it's basically like riding a high, or I think a drug trip sequence would be a great way to put it. And then that also gives opportunity for after he goes through the Ludovico technique and suddenly the classical music is making him sick, then you can also make the animation like really disturbing and really dissonant, and like you can kind of visualize it making him sick. So yeah, I think, it would be more of like a reboot than, just adding animated sequences to it, I think. But it would do, I think it would do a lot for like helping to visualize what exactly is going on and kind of getting into Alex's psyche.
Okay. I can see that. Yeah, I can see that working.
Yeah.
That wouldn't be bad at all. It's kind of hard when you think about this stuff and be like, okay, what would work really well like that with it? Because obviously certain things would be out. If it's like science fiction, more than likely that would be out. Because like, oh well, you're not really bringing anything new to it, or it feels like a comic book movie. Like, okay, yeah, you're not bringing anything new to it, but you want something new and different. Where like, okay, now we're gonna put this part in there, and it's like, or we're gonna make like a little like spin-off, like one-shot spin-off of it, and like, okay, that'd be kind of cool.
Right. Yeah.
And say, talk about the John Wicks. I thought that would be really cool.
Yeah, John Wick would look great.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Mission Impossible, uh, like animated, like a movie spinoff.
Yeah, I could see that, especially if it were like really stylized. I think that would do really well.
Yeah, and you could like so you've got some of the other people. I know you haven't seen the Mission Impossible movies,
Right, right. Yeah, not yet.
but there's a whole story about in the one when he picks up the first one with Jeremy Renner's character, and let's see, and I'm trying to think, is that Ghost Protocol? I'm thinking it is. Where it's no, it's not Ghost Protocol. Shit, is it? It starts off with uh Hunt and Ethan Hunt in like this prison in like Russia or something, and they go and they break him out, and there's this kind of debate over like what he's doing in Russia, how he got there, and like why he's in prison and all that.
Yeah.
And then it comes down to Jeremy Renner's character kind of telling this story. Well, he says something about it, and then Ethan kind of clarifies the story and whatever. But that story, like actually seeing that story in a separate movie, animated movie of like what happened there after this movie here, and then just telling that whole tale, I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But all these things, like when you were saying animated, it has to be the right animation style.
Right, yeah. It can't just be some Hanna-Barbera shit.
Yeah, I don't want like Mission Impossible Go. You know? 1, 2, 3, 4, go! Mission Impossible! Like no, nothing like that.
Honestly, I could see that working though.
But yeah, I think that'd be kind of cool, just having that tale done in this like really smart animated style.
Yeah.
And with the right director too. So it's not even just the style; it's also the direction too. It has to have the proper direction to really make it all like stand out. So you're getting the right angles, the camera and stuff, and yeah. So kind of cool. Like especially if you use like a style like the old like a Golgo 13 kind of thing. I think that'd be really good. Again, that's me and my old school anime.
Right.
Because that's kind of what I dig.
I like the old school stuff.
But I think we're both pretty clear is that when we're thinking about this, I can't see this being done with a rendered CGI look.
Oh God,
I'm
no.
thinking traditional flats.
Yeah, I'm really not a fan of like rendered CGI.
I mean, even if it's drawn digitally, like most of them are, not being the rendered, especially the cheap rendering. Like what was it? We were watching that Rocketeer Junior, Baby Rocketeer,
God,
Lady
yeah.
Rocketeer. Rocketeerette, whatever the shit that was.
I think it's just called Rocketeer. But yeah, it's the modern take on it. Yeah, because that's just like it's just like all default texturing. It's just like here's Blender's pre-rendered skin texture. Use that. It's ugly. It's really ugly.
Yeah, it looks fast and cheap, which I used to like that in some fashion, but not anymore.
I mean, I don't hate all CG. There's some stuff like Illumination. I think they do pretty decently. Now, I think, I mean, I give Illumination a lot of shit because of, like, they created Minions.
Yeah, I know you hate the Minions.
But, like, I mean, I still like Despicable Me. I thought that was a good movie.
Yep.
And I think Gru's character design is really good.
I do like Gru's character design.
So, I mean, as much shit as I give them, it's like they actually do pretty good with their character designs.
Yep.
And I thought Zootopia was, like, a really visually appealing film.
Yeah, Zootopia is really well done. I like the was it Leica stuff? The people that did what's that? Coraline? The stop motion.
Oh yeah. Oh God, I love stop motion.
And see, that's one I didn't think about, like doing something like that in a stop motion sequence as opposed to like a straight animated. Mm-hmm. Like that would be kind of cool. Like so, take your Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah.
If you did that in stop motion, that
man.
would be really nice.
So that would be when the music starts making him sick.
Oh, where it goes all kind of stop motion, where people
and it would be very like Adventures of Mark Twain kind of stuff, where like you can see the fingerprints in the clay. Yeah, it'd be that kind of stuff.
So, but so we were talking about the kind of design of it and stuff. they had that movie that they came out with. Was it the Abominable Snowman or whatever it was? No, shit. What was it? One they came out recently had Hugh Jackman and Zoe Saldana.
Oh yeah, it was
voices in
Abominable.
No, Abominable was a different one. That
Is
was a CGI one. This was the one where a Missing Link. That's what it was.
That's right. That's right. And he had like that curly texture to his fur.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing with Missing Link, and they said it did not do well at the box office. I hated the design of the Missing Link.
It was a pretty bad design.
It was ugly. It was just so ugly. The big nostrils and all that. It was like it just was not appealing. And I always go back to that. You know how many different designs they went through for E.T. before they found one that was like, okay, this is a cuddly-ish, friendly, non-threatening looking alien.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, still looking alien. But the Missing Link one, it's I looked at it and I was like, that thing is so ugly. I cannot watch that creature for an hour and a half. I cannot do it.
Yeah.
And I won't watch the movie because I cannot look at that no matter how.
Which is a shame because the rest of the character designs, if I recall correctly, it's been a long time since I looked at them, but I don't recall them looking too bad.
No, and I from what I understand, the movie is a good movie, but that thing just looks so ugly and so unappealing that I just can't do it. And I understand that the Missing Link is a female, but it doesn't need to look female. It can look like a Missing Link, but just make it look not so horrendous.
Yeah.
And that drove me away. So again, part of this is also make sure that it looks proper.
Yeah,
And not just be this. And I'm sure they tested out a lot, and they probably had a really good reason for doing that. And I don't put them down for it. I'm just saying that it pushed me away.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think like anytime we do these hypothetical situations, it's like a very idealized version in our mind.
Yeah, well, like I said, in that case, they do such good work. Even though I think they did Paranorman, which is just a bad movie. That movie is just horrible.
See, I've heard a lot of people like it, but I
don't
haven't
understand
watched it.
why. It was full with nothing but dad jokes. All the jokes were stale and boring.
I think it's because people just like the creepy aesthetic to it.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta have more than that. Well, maybe not, because that's how Tim Burton gets all his work. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, but yeah, I could not get into that. But the animation was good. Mm-hmm. I just thought the story was weak. Or the scripting was weak. No, the story and the scripting were weak. They were both weak. So okay,
Monster
so what else
House
you got?
was pretty good, wasn't it?
Oh, Monster House is really nice.
Yeah, I never
But
watched that
that's
either.
CGI though.
Oh, is it? Oh, see, it's been so long.
Well, that's
I'm thinking of Frankenweenies being a claymation.
Frankenweenie is stop motion as well, but I don't watch Frankenweenie because
It looked really bad to me.
it's Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, you know how I feel.
Yeah, I know how you feel.
But I was gonna say, what was the one you mentioned before that? Monster House.
Yeah.
So Monster House is motion capture.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yep. Got Steve Buscemi in there, and
Sweet.
yeah.
Oh, let's see.
Maggie
what else?
Gyllenhaal.
What else? I don't know. I'm kind of blanking. I think that any kind of like Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street would do well with like an animated spin-off.
I don't see. I thought about that, but I was like, what could you do? So okay, in Rob Zombie's and haven't watched it, so I don't really know for sure. But in Rob Zombie's Halloween, where they go through like the origin of Michael Myers, if they did that in a animated style,
That could work.
I could see that.
I hear the Rob Zombie spin-off there is really bad, but I like the other Rob Zombie movies I've seen, so I wouldn't mind giving it a chance. But it's also like if I'm going to take the time to watch a movie, I might as well just watch the original Halloween.
Yeah,
because I like that. You know what? I'm not sure where it would fit in well, but it's so dreamy anyway. Donnie Darko could have some really interesting animated sequences.
Donnie Darko would be interesting. And when we were talking earlier, when we were talking about like the movies that have had these things in there, I forgot all about Natural Born Killers, which has that sequence in there.
Oh yeah, it does.
And see, and that's the kind of style I think would work well with like the would maybe tone down a little bit, but with like a John Wick.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it is very caricature-ish. Like they show Mickey as being like way more jacked than he is, but
And some of the proportions the proportions are all out of sync too.
yeah, yeah.
But I think that for a movie like John Wick, which is so frenetic in its action, that you need that
Yeah,
in an animated
yeah.
series to make it stand out more. Because in animation, in live action, those things look incredible, and you know they're planned out. And what's the word I'm looking for?
Deliberate?
No. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on everything in this podcast. The sequence choreographed. They're all well choreographed and practiced over and over again, so it looks smooth. In animation, though, it's animated, so there's no choreography to it, and so you expect it to look that way. So you have to do something more with it to make it stand out, to make it draw you in more, as opposed to just taking a sequence and just doing it.
Yeah.
Trying to think, what else would be really good to do like that? Oh wait, where are we at, by the way, time?
Oh, time. 30 minutes.
Oh,
Man,
okay.
you are good at that.
Well, thank you, Susan.
All right. Well, hey, enjoy this ad, people. We're gonna brainstorm a little bit, and we'll be right back.
Yep.
Hey, everybody, we're back.
Yeah, we are back.
This movie we got playing in the background is a
Don't even mention it. Don't even give them the satisfaction of mentioning it.
fucking train wreck. It's just a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
So yeah, jeez. So that was so distracting that I could not think of any additional things. Now it might not be fair to bring it up because there was like the Ralph Bakshi animated adaptation, but do you think Lord of the Rings could do well with like a modern animated adaptation? And maybe not specifically like telling the story of the journey to destroy the ring, but maybe like a spin-off kind of thing? Like I don't know, like the Silmarillion or like the Children of Hurin, something like that.
I don't know, because I don't really know the Lord of the Rings stuff that well. I don't know Tolkien's universe.
I feel like there could be like one single animated
jeez.
Hobbit movie.
No, I was saying holy jeez because I keep yawning and I'm like, oh jeez, holy jeez.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, like, the Hobbit didn't need to be a trilogy, and I only watched the first one just because, like, the rest looked so bad, but...
Oh god, I watched the first one. I was really expecting, after watching The Lord of the Rings, I was expecting something really good from that.
Yeah.
And then I was just like, afterwards I was like, wait, what the fuck? What's with the singing and like this and then...
Well, to be fair, there is singing in the book, because...
But I don't need to see that in the movie.
Right, yeah, well, Tolkien, like, originally wrote the book for his kids, and then, like, Lord of the Rings, you know, he's like, I'm gonna take a more serious tone here, but... I mean, yeah, no, none of it was necessary. And...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not watching like a Broadway musical. I'm watching fucking The Hobbit, man. I mean, jeez.
And like, I remember when it was announced that there were people who were like, "Boy, I really hope it doesn't suck." And I was like, you know what? After the way Peter Jackson handled Lord of the Rings, I trust him implicitly to do a good job with that.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put this bag right over your head and I'm gonna punch you right in the mouth. Fuck you." It's like, okay, great. Well, thanks, Peter Jackson. You let me down.
I think it was more the studios like, you did such a great job with putting this out there, so we want to keep the gravy train going.
Yeah.
And he's like, you can't really turn. We took 3 books and made 3 movies, and we had to really condense that down. You know, now you want to do the opposite and make, you know, 1 book into 3 movies. It doesn't really work that way. I was like, we're Hollywood, we'll make it work that way. And I mean, and it still made its money.
It did.
It
I mean,
just
people are fans, but
wasn't
I just,
good.
I mean, like, I'm sure I'll watch it at some point, but it's just so hard to force myself to, because I love The Hobbit, the book. I love the book. But just like,
And I
there's
heard
just so much to it that's like, why?
I heard that the other 2 movies are better. But
Really?
yeah, I heard they're better than The Hobbit.
I heard this sucked.
So,
But yeah, no, I think that, like, if there was just a single, just like 2-hour-long film adaptation of The Hobbit, which I mean there was, which I don't remember if that was the Ralph Bakshi or not, but I mean there was like an animated movie like way back when, but I mean something with like good modern animation. Trying to think something decently stylized, maybe with like character designs by Steven Silver. I think Silver could handle it pretty well.
Who's Steven Silver?
He did the character design for Clerks and Kim Possible and Danny Phantom and a few others. He's a busy
Okay.
guy, so he does some really good stylization. I really like the way he stylizes stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, so I think if he did character design for that, that would be pretty cool.
Um, I was gonna say, what about Fast and Furious? But one, I don't really know that franchise at all. That's
Yeah,
one.
no,
And two, um, after the whole Hobbs and Shaw thing, they kind of deviated greatly with that, so it became its own like real life cartoon. But I think that you could probably turn the Fast and Furious into a like a anime style TV series.
I could see that. I could see that. Yeah.
Where just all the racing and just the cars and stuff, and then you could take at least then their adventures would seem more normal. Again,
Right.
being animated, it would make it seem more normal.
The issue with making it like an anime thing though is that you have that meme of the car that's like drifting around the corner and it's doing that song Deja vu, I have been to this place before.
I haven't seen
You haven't
that.
seen that? Oh man, that is a meme that has been thoroughly beaten to death. And it's kind of died out in the past few months, but there was a time like mid 2019 that it was just like constant.
Okay, this is probably going to be really really controversial and be like, I don't really see it.
Okay.
Aliens, or the Alien franchise, standalone kind of alien story, animated, like a darker, heavier animation, like so what's one of the newer animated like animated movies or like TV series that are out like now. That would be and not CGI still, but
I'm kind of like mentally picturing that as like maybe Disney's Atlantis.
no, it has to be darker in tone.
Oh, okay.
See, I'm
So
thinking something with heavier lines and shading because the aliens you
Right,
make it too
right.
make it too light, then the aliens don't they're not as scary. But I could see that working really
that
well.
that could work.
And then you could you could do more like more colonial marines and more this and more that. Um, there's an audio book that I listened to. It was I think it was one of the free Audible ones. And I was talking to a guy at work because he listened to it, and I'd listened to it last year, so I kind of forgotten parts of it. But he was telling me because I was like, "What you listen to?" And he was like, "This." And I was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember I listened to that too." And it's called like Alien Out of the Shadows, something like that. And basically, this ship finds Ripley's ship. Was it the Nostromo?
That sounds right. Yeah.
And so they find that and they free her, and then there's an alien that somehow got on board, and so all this shit goes down. It's a really cool story, but all this shit goes down, and in the end, the one guy's they're trying to get off of this thing. He's like, we're not gonna make it out of here. The only person that's gonna make it out is you. So he's like, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna wipe your mind, and we're going to put you back in hibernation on the ship because they couldn't get both of them back in hibernation. So I'm going to put you, or put them both in hibernation. So I'm going to put you back in hibernation, and I'm going to wipe your mind, so you're not even going to know this ever happened.
Right.
And they were going to get rid of the alien. So it's kind of cool. So it was this kind of like in canon thing that, well, not in canon, but this kind of like in between story that was kind of cool, but it doesn't mess up anything at all.
Yeah.
So it was pretty neat.
Interesting. Yeah. Oh, I've got a good one.
The only problem with it though is that, and this was pointed out to me by Roberts, is if you watch Aliens and this is how much attention to detail James Cameron paid when making Aliens. When you watch Aliens, when the crew that finds her, the salvage crew finds Ripley, and they cut open the bulkhead door, you can see the spear gun sticking out of the bottom of the door where we shot the alien, it was stuck on the end of it, and then the door slammed shut on the spear gun. You can see at the bottom still sticking out of the door from where it slammed shut.
Wow.
So, so with this whole other story there, if they had rescued her and then put her back in, then that spear gun would not be there.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I got a good one.
Okay.
Constantine.
But Constantine, well, it does have a DC animated movie.
Oh, does it? Oh, well, yeah, because he's a DC property. But the film itself,
Okay.
you have that moment where he goes into hell, and you actually see hell. That could be animated. But then you also have the moment where he dies, and as he's ascending up, and Satan like pulls him back down and rips the cancer out of his body.
Yes.
That could be animated, and that could be animated beautifully.
The part where... Yeah, I could see that. We just kind of switch over. But I think the only problem I have with that is that it comes kind of not out of nowhere, but for just the heaven in that part to be animated, kind of jarring.
Yeah, there are some other supernatural elements, like when the guy drinks himself to death. That could be animated. So, like, anytime there's something like heavily supernatural, I think it could just be shifted over to animated.
That'd be interesting.
And I'm kind of seeing, like, I know I've like sung the praises of this scene before, and I've only seen like the fight scene, but not the actual movie. But the fight scene from the Cowboy Bebop movie, I've talked that up a lot because I really really like it. But the way they handle it, like just every time a fist connects and there's just impact, then the way they make the camera shake. That's not as big a deal in live action because, you have a cameraman, you make them shake the camera when they hit.
Right.
It takes a few takes, but you get it. But in animation, to actually do that shake, and like, shaking stuff and moving stuff and having a body moving while your field of view is shaking, that's so hard to do, and that takes so much skill. But, something like that, like I can just imagine, like, once he rips the cancer out of his body, just like the camera shaking as he does that, that would be really cool.
I was watching on something, they were talking about the influence of Akira, and one of the things that was, I guess, a big deal at the time when that was made was that it wasn't just that the characters' mouths moved, but they also had full facial expressions too. So when they're talking, like their mouths and and they're making all kinds of they're really emoting, where you didn't get that before, and I was like, huh, okay, that's kind of cool. So, kind of like what you were saying about that whole thing there, that would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, God, I love Akira so much. Just like the technical skill that went into it. Because I don't know if you saw it, but I shared that video a while back of like showing the animation team working on it, and like they're painting the background.
Oh yeah,
and they have those old like bamboo and horsehair brushes, and they're getting these tiny little intricate details with these like so difficult to control brushes. Like, I've done art with those types of brushes before, and it's such a hard thing to control, and they're just getting like these tiny little city lights in there. It's amazing. I love watching those guys at work.
It is. It's pretty cool. I was going to say, one thing we didn't do was we didn't like distinguish, like in this, putting an animate sequence in, as opposed to something like Cool World or Osmosis Jones.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, or even something like Monkey Bone, where like this world is animated, this world is not.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
that's different.
Yeah, very. Holy shit! I forgot all about Monkey Bone.
I think everybody did.
I never watched it, but
I think Brendan Fraser paid people to figure about Monkey Bone.
He brought about the Mandela effect just so people wouldn't think of Monkey Bone.
No, you're thinking of Drop Dead Fred, right?
I will split this timeline.
It's like, yes, unfortunately, some people will think that Mandela died, but that's okay.
That is a sacrifice I'm willing to make.
So what else you got, man?
Man, I've been rapid firing. I feel like I might have blown my load here, so to speak.
Wow.
That was a delayed reaction.
Okay, I'm just going to put this out there and tell me what you think.
Okay.
And you could be like, yeah, I don't really see it or whatever. Texas Chainsaw Massacre animated movie.
Yes, I could see that. I can never remember his name because it's such a complicated name, but the Samurai Jack guy. The guy who did Primal.
Genndy Tartakovsky?
Yeah, that's why I can't remember his name, because Genndy Tartakovsky. But yeah, no, Genndy Tartakovsky could handle that, and like imagine that in the style of Primal.
Have you seen Primal?
Just clips, not the whole thing. But I know you have had some very strong words about that first episode.
Oh, dude, that first episode. What the fuck? Oh, jeez, Wiz. How you gotta bring that back, man? It's like talking about Fry's dog. Why are you gonna do that to me?
Yeah, I know. I can see like that level of like just hard hitting brutality would be really, really good in that style.
Yes. I can see Texas Chainsaw Massacre by Tartakovsky. I could see that really doing it. Heck yeah.
Do your thing, cuz.
So yeah.
Okay, I like it. Let's see, what else have we got here? I'm trying to think, because like I briefly thought that like some Tex Avery style animations would be really good in like something like Home Alone, but I don't know. It's just flat out removing this from your history, huh?
Yeah. If only I could remove just what little we've seen from my brain entirely.
It's too bad we just can't get our lives back. But yeah, so because like I could see like the traps going off, and then like that would allow the traps to be even like crazier and bigger than before. But it's also like that feels really unnecessary to me. Like it wouldn't add anything to the movie, and I want whatever movies we're discussing here to be enhanced by it.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. I think we've done a pretty good job, at least laying down the groundwork for these movies.
Yeah,
and we can always come back and revisit it again later.
I think so. I think it's something that would reward multiple episodes. But I'll throw one more out there. I think there could be an animated sequence in From Dusk Till Dawn.
All right, what?
Yeah, okay, two possibilities. Either one, just that initial big fight with the vampires, or my preference would be the dance sequence, where she's up on the stage with the snake.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it would have to be, like, really overemphasized to, like, really, really enhance the sensuality of it, if such a thing is possible. But, yeah, I think the dance sequence would really, really look good animated.
Okay.
And it would have to be, like, slicky smooth to really, really pull it off, but I think they could do it.
All right, I can see that. I can definitely see that working. So, I'm pretty good for right now.
Okay. Well, okay, here's my last one, and I really think this needs to happen. So I think they need to take the live-action Aladdin, and they just need to take, like, that entire movie and just make it animated.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'd love to see that.
And replace Will Smith with, like, I don't know, maybe Robin fucking Williams, and they just, like, leave it alone.
Even if they just used old, like sound bites of Robin Williams and just cobble them together.
Yeah, I feel like there's enough... I feel like there's enough out there that, they could easily just put together the entire movie.
Yeah, I think so. I think that would work.
Because, like, somebody as brilliant as Robin Williams is truly timeless, and it would almost be disrespectful to his legacy to let that be forgotten. So,
yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
So...
really, that new movie they did, Lion King, talking animals, that would really benefit well from...
I think if you're going to do a talking animal movie like that, doesn't have like any humans in it,
yeah,
then it probably should be done animated.
Yeah, just a cartoon, thank you.
Yeah, like Lady and the Tramp, or at least that's got talking humans in it, but like something like American Tail, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, I would not want to see that done, realistically.
No. All right.
So hey Disney, take note. I feel like you would be really well suited to maybe take a more animated approach to this stuff instead of trying to peddle badly done CG as live action.
I didn't even really, from what I saw of Aladdin, I didn't even really believe that Will Smith was in that movie.
All right. Well, hey, thanks everybody for giving us a listen. This is a topic that we will probably revisit because this was a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed this a lot.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. So I'm good here, and I had a lot of fun. I got to think about more movies like that. Were like, okay, I think this would really be enhanced by that. I know I had a couple in my head when I first presented it to you, but I think there's a lot more that we can kind of play with.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, most definitely. So yeah, well, once again, thanks everybody, and be sure to check out some of our other stuff.
All right. Zang, yo.
Later.
All right there, folks. That was Our Moms Think We're Funny. Let's give them a hand.